Welcome, everyone. We are going to continue from yesterday. This is the third page of the timeline events from this book, An Era of Darkness by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Okay, and the discussion video is fourth. So, the timeline event in this video will start from the year 1872, and the comment in front of it is written as First British Census conducted in India. Okay, so this was the year in which this was the first attempt by the British Empire to gather some data about the demographics, about the uh, ethnic side of things, which how many types of people are there in India, how many tribes are there in India, how many languages are being spoken in India. So those kind of collections are being age groups, income level, purchasing power parity, etc. All that kind of stuff is normally usually collected supplementarily while conducting a census. Okay, so and the first census carried on in 1872. After that, in 1876, Queen Victoria, who ruled until 1901 till her death, is the proclaimed Empress of India till 1901. From 1876 to 1901, major famine of 1876 to 1877 mishandled by Viceroy Lord Lytton. Okay, so there are two events in front of instead of one that occurred in 1876. The first one was Queen Victoria was declared herself as a proclaimed Empress of India, and who ruled directly on India from here onwards. And in the same year, 1876, a major famine hit India under the administration of Viceroy Lord Lytton. And this famine, unfortunately, in that famine. After that, in the year 1879, the Leonidas, first emigrant ship to Fiji, adds 498 Indian indentured laborers to the nearly 340,000 other migrants already working in other British Empire colonies. Okay, so this is just the next step of what I referred to and explained in the previous um, YouTube live, in the yesterday's YouTube live, that how the British Empire basically uh, forcibly migrated Indians around from India to to the other parts of their colonies around the world. So this time in 1879, the migrants got migrated to Fiji. Fiji is basically, if you Google it, it is a island country on the east of Australia. Okay. After that, in 1885, a group of middle class intellectuals in India, some of them British, established the Indian National Congress to be a voice of Indian opinion to the British government. Okay, so basically, INC was formed under the Indian retired Indian civil servant A.O. Hume, who formed it, and yeah, this was the year in which Indian National Congress formed, which had the purpose on the face of it. The purpose was to, at that point when it was formed, to have a dialogue about the socio-religious reforms, about the political reforms, about any sort of policies that British used to implement on India directly, on the Indian subcontinent directly. But now there will be some people who will be representing the people of India, and who could, you can say, argue on behalf of Indian people in front of the British government in regards to the policies that were being formed and implemented on India. Okay, so after that, in 1889, Jawaharlal Nehru is born, and obviously you all must have already know about who Jawaharlal Nehru was. Who just for those who don't know, just to give a quick background, he is one of the leaders of during the Indian independence movement. along with, he was basically the second, he was second to Mahatma Gandhi. And he was a great statesman. He after India got independence, I think, kept he was prime minister of India for almost 13 to 14 years, but after elections, of course. And I would say that he has his contributions played a vital role in what India is today. Like, he established the universities, he established the policies, the foreign policies under Nehru, uh, except one or two were quite balanced, were quite intelligent, and the credit goes to him for that. After that, in 1891, B.R. Ambedkar is born. Okay, so B.R. Ambedkar, just for those who don't know, he was a jurist, a philosopher, a politician of India, and one of the great known names in the Indian history. And he was, just to state one of his achievements, he was the chairman of that particular committee which drafted the Constitution of India after independence. So, moving on, in the year 1893, Swami Vivekanand represents Hinduism at Chicago's Parliament of the World's Religions and achieves great success with his stirring addresses. Okay, so this particular year refers to a particular event that Swami Vivekanand, on behalf of India, on behalf of Hinduism, represented Hindus in Chicago's Parliament, where all different representatives of different world religions, all world religions, no, renowned world religions were present, and he represented and did the job quite well. In 1896, nationalist leader and Marathi scholar Bal Gangadhar Tilak initiates the Ganesha Visarjan and Shivaji festivals to fan Indian nationalism. He is the he's the first to demand Purna Swaraj or complete independence from Britain. Okay, so this was another Indian leader who had played his vital part in the independence of subcontinent, and he was a bit of a more nationalist leader than Nehru and Gandhiji. And after that, in the year 1897, Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee celebrated amid yet another famine in British India. So, in this year, basically, this comment presents a harsh reality that um, the period of the Diamond Jubilee got celebrated in India. That I don't remember at the moment how much years basically constitute a Diamond Jubilee. I think it is 25 years, 50 years. I don't know exactly. So that much of a period got celebrated in this particular year, but at the same time there was a huge famine going on in India again, which was ignored, somehow ignored, and you can say deliberately mismanaged by the British administrators. And after that, in the year 1900, India's tea exports to Britain reach 137 million pounds. Okay, so this was the year in which it got. It is just a historical timeline event in the history, and just to state the statistics, like the tea exports grown so much over the years that they reach 137 million pounds at that time. I mean, I hope that in that relevant chapter in which this specific time period comes, the author should give the figure, of the modern day figure of what would be the equivalent of 137 million pounds in today's day and age. Must be in billions or trillions, to be honest. In the year 1901, Herbert Risley conducts the first ethnographic census of India. Okay, so this census was quite more detailed than the previous one, which we discussed. In 1872, the first British census got conducted, and in 1901, Herbert Risley conducts, because he was an ethnographer. Okay, so he was a man for that particular job. He conducted that census, a new census in much more detail. In 1903, Lord Curzon's Grand Delhi Darbar. Okay, so this is just a particular this was a ritual in among British administrators after they got hold of Delhi and of almost all of the subcontinent. That they used to hold these sort of great darbars like Mughals used to do, but with bit more of British taste and British rituals. And it was usually used to held in a quite a Persian manner, like Mughals used to do. In the year 1905, partition of Bengal rouses strong opposition. Swadeshi movement and boycott of British goods initiated. Lord Curzon, prominent British Viceroy of India, resigns. So this was a big blunder from the British administration side, the British Raj, that they parted the whole Bengal state into two, and due to which they faced huge backlash from the Indians. And after that, in as a result of this partition, the Indian leaders at that point basically launched a movement known as Swadeshi movement, in which the crux of that particular movement was um, to boycott all imported products, especially the imported products at that time in India were mostly British. So the purpose of this particular movement was to boycott all these imported British products and to try to hit economically the British Empire. Um, okay, so in the year 1906, the Muslim League political party is formed in India at British instigation. Okay, so this is the last three words, at British instigation, is where I think the author could have avoided it, but obviously his range of knowledge, his study on this whole matter must be much huge. The locus of study of the author must be much huge than mine. So I'm hoping that the author will explain how and what kind of instigation did the British did. Instigation, for those who don't know, it means that British pinched the Muslim leaders that okay, you can create this political party. So basically, they gave Muslim leaders a go ahead. Okay, so you please do prepare your own political party. Okay. Okay, so in the year 1909, after that, Minto Morley reforms announced, which I hope we are going to discuss them in much more detail in the later chapters when the timeline event occurs. In the 1911 final imperial Darbar in Delhi, India's capital changed from Calcutta to Delhi, cancellation of partition of Bengal. Okay, so this is the year in which um, India's capital changed from Calcutta to Delhi, and the partition of Bengal that happened in 1905 got reversed due to all those movements, all those backlashes, and the realization that this was not a good action to take on the British Raj's side. In 1913, Rabindranath Tagore wins Nobel Prize in Literature. Uh, in 1914, Indian troops rushed to France and Mesopotamia to fight in World War One. Okay, so for those who who have studied the Indian subcontinent's history must know already that the Indians fought on on various front lines on behalf of the British Army, like in several parts of the British colony, and two of them were mentioned here. That one was France, and the second was Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is basically an old name for Iraq. Okay, and like this, the British in the Second World War also the Indians fought for the British Army, for the Royal Army, and that too in various different colonies, like in Yangon, in on the Japanese border, and so on. Okay. After that, in 1950, Mahatma Gandhi returns to India from South Africa. So this is a year in which Mahatma Gandhi officially returns from South Africa to India in order to take an active part and to spearhead the movement of Indian independence. Okay, by this year, this idea of Indian independence was not that much material. It was more of an ideological thing than a practical thing at this point in time. But later on, moving forward till the 1930s, 1940s, it became quite evident, and Gandhiji led from the front of the whole Indian independence movement. In the year 1916, Komagata Maru incident. Okay, so these are quite weird names. I don't know I'm pronouncing them correctly or not. This was some incident about which the Canadian government excludes Indian citizens from immigration. Lucknow Pact between Congress and Muslim League. Okay, so two major events, as per the author, happened in this year. First one was this particular incident. The Komagata Maru is what I have read about it is that it was basically a ship that was carrying immigrants from, I think, from Japan to Canada, but the Indians somehow managed to get in there and tried to migrate away from the British colonies towards Canada to seek refuge, and the Canadian government straight up rejected them. Okay, so this was one incident, and the second one, which happened, which was more prominent, is the Lucknow Pact between Congress and Muslim League got signed. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss the Lucknow Pact in much detail here because it is quite an extensive document, and it is the one of more significant events in overall political history till 1947. So I hope the author has written much more about it in the relevant chapter. Okay, so I think I have tried to keep this video a bit short because last time it got a bit 30 more than 30 minutes. So currently it is just under 20, and I will try to keep it that way for this particular part. Okay, so see you in the next part. Currently you anyone who must be watching my videos must be wondering that how on earth is he being so consistent with this content. Just because some of the holidays I thought to focus on my YouTube channel and just to give it a go, and as discussed in previous videos, that how I'm going to be consistent, hopefully in the future, regarding my YouTube channel. And consistency is the first thing, and if I will be consistent enough, then you will see an improvement in the production quality of the videos. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.